Good morning. Today our meeting is about professional learning communities and really how both feedback from our staff and what we know about student achievement and the district, the way our district is moving. We're going to implement professional learning communities this year into our school more formally than we have in the past. So I want to introduce to you today the why and how we're going to create a mission and vision and values and goals within our school and then also within our professional learning communities to all have the most positive impact on student achievement that we can. Just wanted to start with a little scenario. Do you remember Blockbuster? I do. I loved it. I loved going there and hoping and praying that my movie was there and that all the copies hadn't run out. And usually I'd be able to grab a snack or something and come home and watch the video. And, you know, if you went late, you'd have to pay extra. And so your mom and dad were always on your case to get that movie returned. And Blockbuster kind of started to fizzle out. And in its place came Redbox. I remember when the first Redbox came to Walgreens down the street from my house, and I was so excited because movies were cheap and I could keep them for longer. And if I was somewhere else, I could return a Redbox there. I could pick up a Redbox there. And then Redbox started to fizzle out. And in its place came, of course, Netflix. And most of us are probably very familiar. We probably use it ourselves. We've got our TV shows that we binge and movies that we see on there. And what we're noticing with Netflix is that even that is giving way to other things like YouTube TV or Sling TV, where consumers are able to customize their TV and video preferences a whole lot more with every passing year. My point is with this example that the customer has changed. We have changed. And so in order to sustain itself or in order to be impactful, companies' ideas need to change, and they need to better cater to the consumer. And none of us are going to Blockbuster anymore. Number one, because they went bankrupt. But even if stores existed like that, like I have one down the street from me, a Family Video, it's kind of the only one remaining, I don't go there because I have Netflix. And so if we want to respond to our students in the way that these TV and movie provider companies have responded to their consumers, then we have some changes to make too. This is maybe, you know, when we think of a traditional classroom and the way that we serve our students, this is maybe a picture that comes to mind. And if you walk into a school today that's much more innovative and collaborative and students are working together, you might see something like this that looks, even in a high school, a whole lot more like a college campus or, you know, any kind of Starbucks or library that you might walk into. So what we're going to ask ourselves is, as a staff, which one are we? Are we Blockbuster? Are we Redbox? Are we Netflix? Or are we ahead of the game? Are we YouTube TV? Where do we want to be? Where do we want to move to? If we know where we're at, then we can kind of take the next steps forward. And of course, how will we get there? How will we put actions in place that are measurable and attainable? And how will we track them to make sure that we're meeting our goals? The definition of professional learning communities. I wanted to share that with you quickly because I think it's really important to ground our work. Professional learning communities are really, it's an ongoing process in which educators work collaboratively in recurring cycles of collective inquiry and action research to achieve better results for the students they serve. And I bold and underline these words because these words speak to me in this definition, and I hope they speak to you too. Things that we need to pay attention to when we really want to positively impact students include ongoing work, working with others, making sure that we're questioning what we do and we're revising it if it needs to be revised, and we're always looking for if what we're doing not only has good intentions but actually results in positive student growth. Why PLCs? Well, first and foremost, on our staff feedback last year, there were a lot of comments about staff wishing that there would be more opportunities to collaborate and more formal opportunities to collaborate, not just the conversation in the hallway where usually a lot of good ideas are born and then the bell rings and you have to go into your class. So that's one piece. Student literacy and math data, when we looked at and analyzed that, it showed an opportunity for improvement. Research findings would show that schools that are failing or not meeting their goals, when they systematically focus on not just what their intentions are, but how their intentions are resulting in student learning, that they see measurable growth. And collective teacher efficacy, which is the shared belief that a group of educators, through their efforts together collectively, that they can positively impact student outcomes. John Hattie does research. He calls it, in 2013, he called it visible learning. He wrote a book and kind of took all these intangible ideas about things that impact students and put them together in something in research that we could measure and see. And the latest research shows that collective teacher efficacy has an effect size of 1.57. And that might seem like kind of an arbitrary number, but I'll just tell you that this is the number one influence on student achievement, the new number one. And so that in and of itself should hopefully inspire you, and it definitely pushes me to realize what kind of power we have as a collective and how we can best leverage that power to impact students. There are three big ideas that our PLCs will focus on. The first is learning, of course, always, results, and lastly, building a collaborative culture. When we work in our PLCs, we have to continue to come around some questions, and there are four critical questions of PLCs. And the first is, what do we expect our students to learn? And this really comes back to curriculum, and the curriculum that is both the hidden curriculum but also the living curriculum. Number two is, how do we know if they've learned it? And this question is really a lot about assessment, and both formative and summative, and how are we keeping track of that? Of course, what do we do if they do not learn it? How are we making sure that the students who are not yet at a proficient level of understanding of a concept have both opportunities and time to get there along with our help? And then the last question is, what do we do if they already know it? How do we make sure that our students who are already at a proficient or even an advanced level have opportunities to push themselves and be challenged to go to that next level? So this year we have some big ideas to tackle, and this is kind of where we're going to start as a group this year. We're going to try to answer the questions that you see here. Why do we exist, first of all? It's a really kind of philosophical question, but it's important to know I want to know where all of my staff is in their opinions and beliefs on this question. What must our school become to accomplish our purpose? How must we behave to achieve our vision? And how will we mark our progress? And really simply, these are going to boil down to, what's our mission? What's our vision? What are our values? And what are our goals? It's really important that everyone in our school and out, all stakeholders, have a say in those mission, vision, values, and goals. And so our process, I'm hoping, is going to be very streamlined and easy. The first thing is, I want everyone to take some individual time without kind of any outside noise to brainstorm the answers to those questions. And so you'll see that in a moment here in our meeting, there'll be some opportunities for you to do that. And then secondly, you'll be sitting with a group of people, and you're going to, after that individual time, kind of share out as a group. What did you say? Discuss. Start to kind of prioritize what you're hearing. And if multiple people say the same thing, that's definitely a concept that we want to hang on to. And so then after that, we're going to have some posters up and kind of do a share and then a gallery walk, so to speak. We're going to post our ideas on each of the different four posters and that you've kind of collected as a group. And then you're going to go around and reflect on the other contributions and also comment if you need clarification. We want those posters to be kind of interactive documents to work from. And then what's going to happen is our leadership team will analyze those contributions and those comments, along with community contributions. We've asked parents and community members to also have a say in our mission, vision, values, and goals, since they are such a part of the village we need to help raise up our students. We're going to complete a draft then of those four things and bring those back to you on our next professional development day to gather some feedback from you. So of course, how are we going to live this? How is this going to be livable and breathable? First of all, every goal is going to be written as a SMART goal and then have action steps as a way for us to check in on our progress and give ourselves deadlines. Committees will be formed around each goal and around that work, and will also help to create and implement our action steps. PLCs will align their agendas and their work to directly connect with our mission, vision, values, and goals. Our SLOs and PPGs will directly connect to our school goals, again, for that kind of streamlined effort. I will be rounding with you 3 times this year to check in on some feedback for what is going well, what needs improvement. And lastly, I'm going to have something this year that's called Chocolate and Chat. And once per quarter, parents and community members will be invited to offer their feedback related to our goals. I had a friend the other day send me this picture on the right, and it made me laugh. But what I want you guys to remember is that we're going to be working in teams, and PLC is one of the best things about them is you're not alone, and you can learn to lean on each other, know that it's a process, and please know that your work matters, your effort matters to each of your students. So instead of that meme, I'll leave you with this meme, and I look forward to all of your feedback on our mission, vision, value, and goals, and all the work we're about to do for our students that we serve.